Hi again everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another speed build video in The Sims 4. Happy Saturday, I hope you're all having the most amazing day ever so far and thank you so much for joining me here today. So we are building in Newcrest on a 30 by 20 lot and we are building a realistic family home. I will talk a little bit more about why I think this is more of a realistic home when we get more into the build. But happy October 1st as well, or happy 1st of October depending on how you say it. In the UK we say 1st of October, but it is officially spooky season. I've been talking about this for the past few weeks and I've been getting ready for this month for so long. This is my favorite time of year by far, and so we are building in autumn for this particular house as well. It's been really nice to be building in autumn in The Sims. It definitely gets me even more into the autumn spirit and I really enjoyed building this house. It's taken me a little bit longer than I had anticipated to get this video up. It's been, I think, 9 days since my last upload. I usually post a video at least once a week, sometimes twice, but for some reason I know exactly what it's been. It's been work and it's been other things, and I just haven't really had the time to sit down and do any building or any video editing. So this weekend it's been really nice and I'm going to be having a video out today and then also a collaboration video out tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that on the channel. I'm very excited to share that one with you. But as you can see, we are currently working on the exterior structure here. You can see I went through a change of colour scheme on the exterior, which isn't unusual for me. I do it very frequently. So this is nothing new, but you can see that the shape of the house is pretty much as it was at the start of the video. If you watch like the little ambiance video at the start, and also from the thumbnail too, you probably clicked on this because you like the look of the house. So I would assume you can sort of see the shape of the house is pretty much getting there. I did build like a faux garage area, which I don't do very often in my builds, and you'll see what I did on the inside to counteract the fact that it's not a real garage. So I didn't do like a garage space on the inside of the house because the house it's not very big. It's like a medium-sized house. It's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. I don't know if I've mentioned that. There's a quite a large living room and then a kitchen dining space. There is no separate dining room. There's also a small downstairs office or study. But again, we'll talk a bit more about that when we get onto the interior of the house. So you can see me here just going through a few different colour options and just seeing what we can come up with. But I kind of had in my head that this was going to be an autumnal build, but with no autumnal decorations, if that makes sense. So obviously we're building in autumn and you can see the colours are very autumnal, and I'm really happy with how this house came out. I also used windows from the Get Famous pack because I don't use them very often at all, but they are probably some of my favourite windows in game. I don't know why I don't use them more. I really don't know. I should probably start using them a little bit more, but they are really nice windows. I also teamed them up with a couple of the windows from the Seasons pack. You'll see me not necessarily on the main body of the house, but in the roof pitched areas I'll add some of these windows from the Seasons pack, which I think work quite well because obviously the roof is black and then you've got like the black detailing within the windows, and then obviously the frame's white, so I think it works quite well. You can see the inside of the house just there. We've got a little sneak peek. You can see it's not very big, and that's why I sort of uploaded this as more of a realistic home. And another reason is because the interior, it's not too matchy. It's very down to earth decor is probably what I would describe it as, and it's just like a realistic family home. It's not extravagant, it's not stylish or anything like that. It's just really down to earth, and I love doing these builds because I like to see how I can replicate realistic floor plans and also decor just from my own mind, because if you are new to the channel, I don't use reference images for the interior of my builds, but more often than not I do use them for exteriors. For this house I didn't actually use a reference image, so this is just me sort of playing around with different shapes and coming up with this shape here and sort of adding bits as I go on. And again, I'm quite happy with this. It's probably not my favourite build that I've ever done, but I'd still had a lot of fun doing it. And I do definitely want to do like another autumnal build. I want to do some more spooky builds for the channel for spooky season. So I'm just sort of going through my head and planning some videos for the next few weeks. And then obviously when we start hitting sort of middle to end of November is probably when I'll start releasing the Christmas builds as well. I love doing Christmas builds. I already have in my mind that I want to do like a Christmas cottage in Henford-on-Bagley in the snow, and I'm already so excited to share that, and I haven't even started the build, but I kind of know what I want to go for with that. So anyway, we are working on the landscaping now. I'm going to my tried and true and tested usual landscaping, let's class it as, and these debug trees from the Get Together pack, I believe they're from, along with some of these bushes from base game. And I add a basketball hoop on the garage and then a little bicycle out front just to add that touch of realism that we were referring to earlier. And I'm really glad I added these little details because I think it just brings the house a bit more to life and makes it look a bit more lived in. I always make my houses lived in on the interior, but I often keep things quite clean and crisp on the outside. And obviously with it being a realistic house, I thought, well, let's just add some more detailing to bring that through a little bit more. So you'll have to let me know what you think of this. But I do like building in Newcrest. I haven't built here for, it feels like it's been a really long time since I built in Newcrest, but I don't know exactly how long it's been. I do like building here because obviously it's the blank world that came with the Sims 4 base game during an update, I believe, and it's good for builders and people who want to sort of design and build their own world, not necessarily using their own homes, but like downloading some houses off the gallery and just creating your own sort of environment. I wish that Sims team would release another world like Newcrest that's blank, but maybe with a different vibe. I think that would be really good if they could do that at some point. But we are moving on to the inside here now. You can see that this is the living room on the right hand side. It's very large. That's the garage space on the outside, and you can see that I blocked off the front with an interior wall. So you can see here just on the right hand side the little windows are poking through, but I end up just putting a wall up there so that I could make this space usable. So I hope this works for you. I don't really know. It seemed to work when I was playtesting it, and it didn't really seem to cause me any issues, as in visual issues, but I hope it's okay for those of you who are going to be downloading this house. So the living room, I was sort of thinking I have like this classic / contemporary vibe going on in this house, and as I was explaining at the beginning, it's not particularly stylish, it's not matchy, it just seems very like a very genuine house and very like family friendly and just warm and inviting, and that's what I wanted to portray with this particular build. So you'll have to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Did we achieve it with this? Have you downloaded this house and are playing in it currently? What changes have you made? I talk about this all the time, but when you guys send me screenshots of your Sims in my houses, I just love it so much, and it's really nice to see what you change to cater for your own gameplay. So obviously, because we've got these we've got 3 windows in this room, at the front and then on the side here, and then we've got a blank wall, I did find it quite challenging to fill in the gaps, as it were. But just while I'm thinking about it now, these hanging lights are from the Desert Lux kit, and I thought they worked so very well with this house. So I do use them in I think I use them in 2 of the bedrooms upstairs, and then the living room and the kitchen as well, and then probably also the office. I really like them because what I love about these lights is that you can use them in a lot of different settings, because it seems to me like these are a set of lights that you would find in anybody's house and in any sort of situation. So I really like how versatile these lights are, and I just had to point that out because it was my first time using them since the kit has been released, and I believe is it still free for players? I'm not entirely sure. I really don't know. I'm not too up to date with the dates and things, but I don't know if it's still free, but if it is, then that's a winner, because it is a great kit and we did get some really nice items from it. So you'll see me, this is the wall that I was referring to, like the blank wall, and I found it slightly challenging to fill up the spaces, but I think I got there with it in the end. And because it is such a big living room, I also found decorating particular corners of this room quite challenging at times. So it might not make much sense, but I tried to fill in the spaces as best as I could, and this is what I ended up coming up with. If you want to rejig anything and change things around, if you do download this house, then you are more than welcome to do that. This is just sort of where my mind was going when I was decorating this particular house on the inside. But again, it's not overly cluttered, there's not too much going on, but there's enough going on where it looks sort of lived in and like a family actually lives here. And if you do drop down and take some screenshots of your Sims just interacting with one another, it would make for a really nice backdrop. That's always what I think in my head as well, because if I am playing with Sims and I do take some screenshots, the background where your Sims are is so important for storytelling and just... it's just aesthetically pleasing at the end of the day, isn't it? So anyway, look at me with another oddly shaped kitchen. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I'm clearly just trying to test myself and my decorating abilities. But again, I think this worked out really well. And if you heard my throat gargle, then I do apologise. I've just taken a drink and clearly my throat just thought that was a good time to gargle. Anyway, so another oddly shaped kitchen. However, I think I worked out a really good layout for this particular kitchen. In my previous speed build, I did a very similar shaped kitchen and you guys seem to really like it, and I don't really know why. I think it's maybe because it's such a challenging shape and it's so interesting to see how you can actually pull it together and decorate it to make it look at least half decent. But I love this kitchen, I love the vibes, I love the fact that I've used these counters from the base game because I never gravitate towards these normally, but just keeping that sort of down-to-earth feel and vibe with the house, I thought it worked quite well. And then this is the little dining area here. Now in my head, this is a house for a family of 4 Sims, so the dining table works quite well. If you decide to put some twin rooms or bunk beds or whatever in the kids' rooms upstairs, then you might want to consider adding a slightly bigger dining room table. There is room for it, it's just that with me thinking there were only 4 Sims in this house, a circular table with 4 chairs just made all the sense in the world. And so I'm just going in and adding some like little decorative items and sort of adding just some more detailing really to make the kitchen look a little bit more, I'd say, welcoming and lived in. Now you might notice that I'm using on the walls, I'm not using any tiling, and that's because of the shape of the kitchen. I just didn't think it was going to work all that well, so I just end up keeping this sort of beigey coloured wallpaper from the base game. Let's pretend it's like a durable paint that you would have in the kitchen, because you can get that stuff. You can, and whilst it's probably not very common to have it behind the cooker in particular, I think people would still have that. But if it's something that you think, okay, I don't really like how that looks, pop some tiling on the wall and just see what it looks like. When I was playing and having a play around with it off camera, it wasn't working for me, but that's not to say that you guys can't make it work, because you might choose a totally different tile to me. I don't really know. And then we've got these lovely French doors off the back to the back garden as well, which I think work really well and just add a little bit more light to the space. If you're not really liking that, then delete the doors and then just spread the counters out and add some more to sort of make some more counter space. But I just thought it was a really nice idea to sort of have that there and just offer a little bit more light. And I think French doors off of kitchens are actually quite common as well, so I tend to add them in most of my builds. Now, okay, so I forgot to mention that I did envision that this family had a dog or a cat. In my head it was a dog, but obviously if your family have got a cat, then just add a litter tray somewhere, probably in one of the bathrooms or something. But I forgot to mention that they probably have a dog as well, so that's really nice too. So again, I don't tend to add dog bowls or pet bowls into my builds, which I always talk about is very strange for me, because I personally have 2 dogs in real life, and it's really strange to me that I never seem to add the pet bowls into my builds. So, you know, if you don't have a dog or whatever, then just delete the bowl. It's really no big deal. There's no other pet objects in this house apart from the bowl. So I just thought it was a nice idea, and I didn't really know what else to put next to that counter, so I thought, why not put a pet bowl? We have just spoken through the hallway. It's not particularly large, and I do add some wardrobe space in there as well, again trying to add that touch of realism. I know in my house we've got like a closet where we put shoes and coats and things, so that was my idea with that. And then this is the downstairs study. You can turn this into a bedroom if you want to. It could be maybe a guest room, it could be a gaming room, it could be a streaming room, you could keep it as an office, whatever you want to do with it, go right ahead. I just thought it was kind of like an odd shape, and it seemed to make more sense to turn it into an office. So this is the downstairs bathroom. Technically this house is 1.5 bathrooms, because this is only a toilet and a sink. but the bathroom upstairs is a full bathroom. So if you want to get really technical, it's 1.5 bathrooms, but for the sake of the gallery upload, obviously you can't put down 1.5 bathrooms, you can only put 1, 2, 3 or whatever. So we're going to call it 2. Now this is the upstairs. As you can see, it's got 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. I was very lucky that I was able to fit this many bedrooms upstairs, to be totally honest, but the hallway as you get upstairs is so narrow. If this was my house in real life, I'd feel extremely claustrophobic walking up those stairs. But again, touch of realism. There are houses that are like this, you know, the landing space at the top isn't always the biggest, and I thought it's probably more important to just have more bedrooms, so your Sims will get over it, don't you worry. So this is the main bedroom that we're currently working on here. I used this bed from the Dream Home Decorator pack. That pack name almost escaped me for a second there. But it seems to be a while since I've used this bed, and I actually really like it, and just going for that contemporary sort of theme up in the bedrooms as well. Again, adding a touch of classic furniture as well, just to keep it sort of grounded rather than too trendy and modern, just to sort of bring everything together with the house. Again, not overly decorated at all, this room. It's very simple. It's not the biggest main bedroom, and it doesn't have an ensuite off it, just because the floor plan would not physically allow me to even contemplate putting an ensuite off this room. It's probably just as well, because again, it's a realistic house. Not every house has an ensuite off the main bedroom, so that's why I ended up doing this, and just adding some more sort of paintings on the wall, some light fixtures, etc., to add a little bit more, I don't know, lighting, I guess. We do add these lights again from the Desert Lux kit, I think it's called, because I thought they worked really well in there. Now this is what I had in mind as a teen room. We go for like these soft pastel-y colours, hints of turquoise with pink thrown in there, a bit of white. It's really cute. It's maybe not a colour scheme that I've explored, at least recently. I've probably explored it in the past, but not recently. So it was really nice for me to have a play around with some of these items. And a lot of these items are from the high school pack, because it is a teen room, and of course high school years was definitely catered more towards teens, and we got some wonderful items for teen rooms in that pack. So I thought I would utilise them as best as I could, and I do go through a few changes in this room. I end up changing the swatch of the bed off camera just before we move into the other bedroom, which is for a single sim, like probably a child or very young teenager. And I don't know why I mentioned that, because it's not particularly important, but I thought I'd mention it anyway, just in case when it comes to the screenshots and you're thinking, why is the bed changed? That's why I changed it off camera, just because this particular swatch, whilst it's okay right now, it just wasn't vibing with me while I was taking the screenshots, and so I do end up changing it. It looks like a pastel-y patchwork sort of swatch, and I definitely haven't used that before, so I thought it would be refreshing for me to just try and use some different swatches of some of these items. This bedroom is almost done. I'm just adding some clutter and making it look, again, lived in and realistic, because, you know, teenagers, I mean, there are some messy adult people, but teenagers in particular are not the tidiest of humans, so that's why I wanted to add some clutter. This bedroom, as I said, it could be for a child or maybe a young teen. I didn't have a specific gender in mind for this. The other room is probably more pastel-y, but you can put whatever sim you want in there, and if you want to change the swatch of some of the items, please go ahead. This room, whilst it's small, I added quite a lot of clutter in here just to again get across that realism, and I don't know, I just felt like it. I love cluttering up kids' rooms, and this was no exception at all. So there's a dresser here with a little TV on it. This sim has like a little beanbag in the corner, and there's some plants. They've got like a console they can play the games on while they're sat in bed. There's a music boombox thing, a hi-fi system, whatever you want to call it, which I don't think a lot of people have right now, because it doesn't seem like an item that a lot of people have anymore. But anyway, I don't know why I even mentioned that. I don't know why I cluttered up this dresser as much as I did. Clearly I just got a bit giddy. But it looks pretty decent. It looks quite good in the screenshots, so whatever. But we are I can't talk today. I can't talk at all. But we are almost coming to the end of the video, so I will start wrapping up here. You can get this house from the gallery right now. My origin ID is RachelPedd. Tray files, as always, are linked down in the description box below. You can get them for free from SimFileShare. But thank you so very much, everyone, for joining me here today. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below, and you all take care, and I will see you next time I post a video. Bye.